Hello, this is Jen from Windrose Fiber Studio. Today we're crocheting an 1885 baby's bib. This is a vintage reproduction. Today we'll stay true to this beautiful design. At the same time, we'll also be bringing it into modern times using machine washer and dryer safe yarn that's a medium weight and a 5mm crochet hook. And of course, it's nice to have a pair of scissors and a yarn needle on hand. We'll begin with the body of the bib. Start by chaining 26. Make sure that these chains are loose enough that you'll easily be able to work into them. Here I have my finished chain, and I'll start off by working into these back bumps. For row 1, we're going to work a half double crochet into the third chain from our hook. Throughout the pattern, the turning chains will not count as stitches. Then you'll half double crochet in the next 10 stitches. This will bring you to the center of the beginning chain. Here you'll do 4 half double crochets in the next stitch. And then you'll finish off this row by working half double crochets across. Here's a look at row 1. We go from 11 half double crochets to a 4 half double crochet increase and then 12 half double crochets. This is the bottom of the bib, and we'll be working our way up. On to row 2 now. You'll chain 2 and turn. For row 2, you'll be working in the back loops only. Half double crochet in the next 13 stitches. Remember that the right side of our work will be facing us on our even rows. Next, you'll work 4 half double crochets in the next stitch. And now you'll work half double crochets across. There'll be 13 more stitches. On the even rows, the stitch count will be the same before and after the increase. As we come to the end of row 2, we can take another look at our work. You can see that by working in the back loops only, we've created this nice decorative ridge. This is a very important design element in our pattern. On to row 3, you'll chain 2 and turn your work. We're not working in the back loops this time, we're working through the stitches as usual. You'll half double crochet in the next 14 stitches, then you'll work 4 half double crochets in the next stitch, and then you'll half double crochet in the next 15 stitches. In the spirit of troubleshooting, keep track of your stitch count. The easiest way to go astray on this pattern is to lose track of how many stitches are happening before and after the increase. For row 4, you'll chain 2 and turn, and we're back to working in the back loops only. Remember, the right side of your work is now facing. You're going to work half double crochets in the next 16 stitches, then you'll do 4 half double crochets in the next stitch, and then you'll half double crochet in the next 16 stitches. Once again, there'll be 16 stitches before and after that increase. Let's take a look at our work so far and let's examine this repeating pattern. For row 1, you worked 11, then increase, 12. Row 2 is 13, increase, 13. Row 3 is 14, increase, 15. And then row 4 is 16, increase, 16. So you've got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Keeping this repeating pattern in mind, I'm going to invite you to pause your video right here while you follow the directions for rows 5 through 9. I'll start things right back up when we're ready to move on to row 10. Here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got rows 1 through 9 and we're ready for row 10. For row 10, you're going to chain 2 and turn. The right side is facing you once again, so you'll be working in the back loops only as you half double crochet in the next 25 stitches. When you reach the center of this row, you'll work 3 half double crochets in the next stitch instead of 4. That is how our pattern has changed. So it's half double crochet in the first 25 stitches, then 3 half double crochet in the next stitch, and then you'll half double crochet in the next 25 stitches across. Remember, all of this is done in the back loops. For row 11, you'll chain 2 and turn. You'll half double crochet in the next 26 stitches, then work 3 half double crochets in the next stitch, and then half double crochet in the last 26 stitches. The stitch count will be the same before and after the increase. For row 12, you'll chain 2 and turn. Once again, you're working in the back loops only. Half double crochet in the next 27 stitches, then you'll work 3 half double crochets in the next stitch, and then half double crochet in the next 27 stitches. Before you know it, we're on our last row of the body of the bib. Row 13, you chain 2 and turn, half double crochet in the next 28 stitches, then 3 half double crochets in that next stitch, and then half double crochet in the next 28 stitches. We'll have a look at our work, but do not finish off your yarn at the end of row 13. Here are our first 13 rows. This probably doesn't look like any bib you've ever seen before. That is definitely part of the fun of recreating a vintage pattern. We get to take something that's part of our history and make it new again and appreciate the beauty of the design. We're going to pick things up right where we left off and start creating our straps. You're going to chain 2 and turn, and for row 14, you're going to work in the back loops only and half double crochet in the next 5 stitches. For row 15, you'll chain 2 and turn, and you'll work 5 half double crochets across. For rows 16 through 23, you're going to repeat rows 14 and 15 respectively. You're just working 5 half double crochets across. Remember, on the even rows, you'll be working in the back loops only. And at the end of row 23, you can go ahead and finish off your work. So here's the right side of our work, and we'll have this side facing as we move on to part 2. You can see that part 1 has a total of 10 rows. We'll start off part 2 with a little yarn management. That is a phrase you hear me say a lot around here. We're going to leave a 3-yard or about a 2.75 meter tail at the beginning of our work. This yarn will later be used to finish off the armhole, and it'll give you less loose ends to weave in. After you measure off this length, you can wrap the yarn around 4 fingers. We're going to make a little butterfly. Once most of the yarn is wrapped around your fingers, you can take that little end that's left and wrap it around the middle like a little bow. And then I put the end under a loop created by my finger just to hold it in place. This also basically acts like a center pull ball that I can work from. Now I can just go ahead and join my working yarn to my hook with a regular old slip knot, and we're ready to move on. So we're continuing row 14, and we'll be working in the back loops. So we've skipped 10 stitches, and we're going to start working in the next stitch. The stitch count is very important here, so go ahead and double check. And now we're going to join our yarn with a standing half double crochet. This is where I realize that my stitch marker's kind of in my way, and I move it so that it's just on the front loop. And this way I can work into the back loop. To join with a half double crochet, you're going to go ahead and yarn over, hold that yarn in place with your pointer finger, insert your hook into the back loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. You just created a standing half double crochet, and now you'll work a half double crochet in the next 10 stitches. Remember, we're working in those back loops. Including our standing half double crochet, we have a total of 11 stitches, and now we're going to work a half double crochet decrease. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through all 5 loops on your hook, and then we finish off with a half double crochet in the next stitch. For row 15, you'll chain 2 and turn. You're going to skip the very first stitch, and you're going to work a half double crochet decrease. So let's see that again. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops on your hook, and now you'll half double crochet in the next 10 stitches. Your very last stitch will be worked into that standing half double crochet. And we're on to row 16. For row 16, chain 2 and turn. The right side is facing, so we'll be working in the back loops. Half double crochet in the next 5 stitches. For row 17, you'll chain 2 and turn, and then half double crochet in the next 5 stitches. For rows 18 through 21, repeat rows 16 and 17 respectively. Remember, you're just working short rows of 5 half double crochets each. When the right side of your work is facing, work in the back loops, and I'll see you at the end of row 21. Okay, here we are at the end of row 21. You can see that there are 6 short rows in all. The first butterfly we made is going to be used to finish off the armhole. We're going to make another longer ending tail that we'll use later to attach these straps and also make the tie. For this tail end, we'll need 2 yards or just under 2 meters. And then I'm going to make another little butterfly just as you saw me do before. We'll be coming back to these straps in just a minute, but first we're going to make the straps for the other side. We're going to flip our work over so that the wrong side of our work is facing. We're going to be starting in this corner right here. We're going to change things up and we're going to be working in the front loops only. And we're going to join with another one of our standing half double crochets. Once again, yarn over, hold that in place with your forefinger, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And then you'll half double crochet in the next 4 stitches. For row 15, you'll chain 2 and turn, and then work half double crochets across. There'll be a total of 5 half double crochets. Notice that by working in the front loops on the wrong side, for this side of our straps, it gives us that same appearance of ridges on the right side of our work. For row 16, you'll chain 2 and turn. We'll be working in the front loops, half double crochet in the next 5 stitches. For row 17, you guessed it, you're going to chain 2, turn, and half double crochet across the next 5 stitches. For rows 18 through 23, you'll be repeating rows 16 and 17 respectively, and then finishing off your work. We are on our last shoulder strap now. We're going to turn our work so that the wrong side is facing, and once again we're going to leave a 3-yard or about a 2.75 meter tail and turn that into a cute little butterfly that we'll use later. For row 14, we're going to skip the next 10 stitches, and then working in the front loops only for this row, we're going to join with a standing half double crochet. Remember, front loop, and then we'll continue on working half double crochets in the next 10 stitches. Now we'll work a half double crochet decrease, and then finally a half double crochet. You can see there's one unworked stitch right in the center of the top of the bib. Onto row 15, we chain 2 and turn. Just like on the opposite side, we're going to skip the first stitch, and then we're going to work a half double crochet decrease, and now we'll half double crochet in the next 10 stitches. The last of these will be worked in our joining half double crochet. I feel like you probably know what's coming next. Rows 16 through 21, we're repeating rows 16 and 17 from part 3 respectively, and then we're going to be finishing off. So remember, these are just short rows of 5 half double crochets across. When the wrong side is facing, you'll be working in the front loops. Then you'll chain 2 and turn and work 5 half double crochets back across. There will be a total of 6 of these short rows, and then we're going to finish this off together. When you've completed row 21, we're going to measure off another 2 yards or 1.8 meters and make another one of our little butterflies. We'll be using this for attaching these straps and for making our tie. These little skeins of comfy are just 109 yards, and you can see I still have some left over, so this is a 1 skein project, especially since we'll be using a second color as an accent for our trim. So here's a look at our bib. The right side is facing. We'll use this butterfly for this armhole and this one for this armhole, and then these 2 little butterflies. Once again, these will be attaching the top of our shoulder straps and also be used as the ties for the bib. So let's get right to it. I have unwound the butterfly on the right, and you can see if I hold these straps up so that the right sides are joining, then I'm going to flip them over, and now the right sides are facing each other and the wrong side is facing us as we slip stitch these 2 ends together. Insert your hook through 1 stitch and the same stitch on the opposite side, yarn over and drop a loop, and then you'll just insert your hook into the next set of stitches, yarn over, drop a loop, and draw that loop through the loop on your hook. So this is just a simple slip stitch join. And once you work your way across these 5 stitches on either side, you're going to go ahead and work 60 chains. This length of chain will be used as one side of our tie. And once you get to the number 60, you can go ahead and finish off and trim off any excess yarn. When we look at our work, I want you to note that when you lay the bib out flat with the front side facing, the necktie should extend from the outside of the shoulder strap, not the inside facing the armhole, but the outside. With that squared away, we're ready to move on to finishing the armhole. Now we'll use our larger butterfly to finish off the armhole. You'll do this with the right side of your work facing. I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook in the next end row. Draw up a loop, chain one, and then single crochet in that same stitch. This just gives us a good starting point. If you like, you can go ahead and mark this first stitch with a stitch marker. To finish these armholes, we're simply going to be working 30 single crochets evenly around. You'll work one single crochet at the end of each row. When you get to the shoulder strap seam, you'll place an extra stitch both before and after that seam, and then you're back to putting a single crochet at the end of each row. I like to take my time and carefully place my stitches in the same position at the end of each row as I work my way across. You can see I wasn't happy with that one, so I'm going ahead and fixing it. Here we are at the end of the shoulder strap. Now you'll work 10 single crochets across, and as we do this, we'll be working in our back loops. This just continues the look of the ridge along the body of the bag. We've got 2 end rows left. Now you could simply join this with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. I've decided to go ahead and do an invisible finish off. So I'm just trimming my yarn and pulling my hook. And now I'll thread my working yarn onto a yarn needle. I'll pass this yarn underneath both loops of the first single crochet. And then working between the front and back loops of the last single crochet, I'm going to go straight down. And I also like to pick up this little loop of yarn behind the stitch. It just helps to anchor this finish in place. When you do a finish off like this one, it creates the look of a stitch instead of a little slip knot, and it's just a nice clean way to finish your work. I always do 3 passes when I weave in my loose ends, and here we have it, just a nicely trimmed out opening for the arm. Now repeat this process for the second side. Okay, well, great job. Here we are. The body of our bib is done. When the bib is on the baby, these sides will wrap around and the front of the bib looks a bit like a little vest. So sweet. But to really finish off this project, let's create our scalloped trim. I'm going to switch to my accent color. This is called Parchment. I actually love the names of these colors. Peony and Parchment sound kind of perfect for reproducing a Victorian bib. Okay, time to focus. I have the right side of the bib facing and it's upside down. I'm going to join with a standing single crochet in the very center of row 1. And then I'm going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and single crochet in the next stitch. You're going to repeat this 5 times until you reach the corner of this half of the bottom row. So including our standing single crochet that we joined with, we have a total of 6 single crochets. And now we're going to keep going. We're going to chain 1 and then we're going to work a single crochet in the edge of row 1. So it'll feel like you're skipping quite a big space, but don't worry about that because a cute little scallop is going to go there in round 2. After you place that single crochet, you'll chain 1 and then you're going to single crochet in the end of the next row. You'll chain 1, single crochet in the end of the next row. This is what you'll be repeating as you work your way around all of these end rows and up and around that shoulder strap. I'm speeding things along whenever possible in this video, but please remember you can always go into settings and slow down the playback speed. I also want to pop in and tell you that when you get to the seam on the outside of this shoulder strap, you're not going to be adding any additional stitches. Just keep going as you are, working 1 single crochet into the end of each row and then chaining 1. I'm slowing us back down again as we get close to the neckline. It's quite important where you place your stitches as you work your way across the top of the bib. So let's do this one together. So I've just worked my last single crochet into that last row of the shoulder strap. We're skipping the first stitch and then we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet, chain 1. The next single crochet will go in the turning chain, chain 1, and then the next single crochet is going to go into the stitch just to the right of the center. Then you'll chain 1 and you're going to place your next single crochet in that stitch just to the left of center. Chain 1 and then go into the next turning chain. And then it might be a little bit easier to count back from the other side. You know you're going to be skipping that first stitch. Single crochet, skip, single crochet. You'll see me double check that just to be on the safe side. Here's our skip stitch. Yes, no, yes. So here's where we're placing our next single crochet. Then we'll chain 1, skip a stitch, and work a single crochet in the next stitch. And then we're skipping that last stitch of the top of the neck there. There will be a total of 8 single crochets and chain 1 spaces going across the top of the bib, with one of those chain 1 spaces falling directly in the center. Now we're ready to carry on working in the end rows. Once again, you'll work a single crochet and then chain 1 in the end of each row working your way around the strap, and then back down the other side. Here we are back at row 1, and I've worked a single crochet and chain 1 into the end of this row. We know that there'll be 5 single crochets and chain 1s working across the second half. Once again, I think it's easier to count back from the center. You can think to yourself, skip single crochet, or you can count 10 stitches to the right of that center point, and that 10th stitch will be where you place your next single crochet and chain 1. And then you'll just continue on with our pattern until you're back to the very beginning. Skip a stitch, single crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, single crochet, chain 1, and then to finish off this round, we're just going to work a slip stitch to that first single crochet. At the end of this round, you'll have a total of 77 single crochets. Here's how our work is looking. If for some reason you'd prefer not to have scallops, but just to have a more simple edging, you could call the bib done right here. Otherwise, we're going to do one more round and add our scallops. So for round 2, into the very next chain 1 space, we're going to work 3 half double crochets. Into the next chain 1 space, you'll work a single crochet. You'll repeat this pattern all the way around, working into those chain 1 spaces, 3 half double crochets and then a single crochet. If you want to make your scallop even more pronounced, you can switch out those single crochets for slip stitches, and this will just create a slightly more defined scallop. The stitch placement should work out such that you have a scallop that goes right over the center of the top of the bib. As we come to the end of this round, you'll join with a slip stitch to the last stitch of row 1, and then you can finish off your work and weave in all of your loose ends. Let's take a moment and look at our work. It works out so nicely. You have 3 scallops on either side of the center at the bottom. There's a scallop on each bottom corner and one just above each of the shoulder straps. And then that scallop right in the middle of the top of the bib. Our finished bib is about 9 inches wide and 9 inches high, which is very standard for a baby's bib. I'd like to show you a couple more bibs, and I also want to point out that the top of this bib really does benefit from a little blocking. I just got the very center of the top wet and pinned it down and let it dry overnight, and you can really see what a difference that makes. This green one was made with the same weight yarn but using a G or a 4mm crochet hook, and it just makes it a little bit smaller. And then if you're interested in more of a newborn size, using a sport weight yarn and a 4mm hook works well. This is one of those times when I kind of wish I had a baby, but my babies are 6 foot tall grown men, so I'm having to settle for this display form just to give you an idea of how it looks when it's on. This design so speaks to the age it came from. Oh, and then my little sheep decided to step in and be my model. Now, I know this is not a baby, but it does give you an idea of how cute this could look on an actual baby. And look how protected her lap is. She's ready for her baby food. And then afterwards, this bib can come off and go right into the washing machine. The next time you're crocheting a baby gift, I hope you'll consider giving this pattern a try. I hope you enjoyed this vintage reproduction. I did my very best to stay true to the original design. I'll include more information on the 1885 baby's bib in the description box below. That's all I have for you today. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know if you would enjoy more vintage reproductions like this one. I post new patterns every Tuesday, and it's my hope that when you visit my channel, you'll be able to scroll through my videos and find a design that you would love to crochet. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.